Hey everybody, welcome to episode 23. Today I'm going to talk about the DC Multiverse action figure line from MacFarlane Toys. Kind of tell you my conundrum with this line, why I like it and why I have issues with it. I'm going to show you, I only have 3 figures at the moment, so I'll show you those, which ones I have, and then we'll take a look at the collection and I'll kind of show you my issues with it. First and foremost, I think I don't know if it's clear by now, but I usually collect the ladies, the superheroes the most. I mean, I like the guy heroes, the regular superheroes, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Batman, you name it as well. But I really like the female characters, and so I in order to streamline my collections, I'm still going to continue to do the superpowers, all of them, guys and girls, but I'll get to that in a specific episode because I've got a big pre-order coming in this month, and that'll be a good time to do a full episode on the MacFarlane superpowers and kind of tell you about stories of the original superpowers from Kenner back in the day. But I'm going to talk today about the MacFarlane Multiverse figures specifically. And like I said, while I have issues, if you know anything about this or any of the stuff like MacFarlane has said, you might know what I'm talking about. But first and foremost, when I learned of it was about the time I kind of got back into collecting. I kept seeing these MacFarlane. I didn't know they were MacFarlane at first, but I kept seeing these DC figures. They were 7-inch figures. They looked great. And they seemed to be pretty reasonably priced at the time. Back then, I think Marvel Legends and Black Series, stuff like that, so regular 6-inch figures from Hasbro were $19.99. So I want to say that the MacFarlane stuff was $14.99 at the time. I know currently now it's at $19.99, which is a pretty fair price for a 7-inch action figure. And it has their what do you call it? There are a few that are 24, and there's some bigger ones, deluxe figures, like the Calabac figure is pretty, super pricey, but I mean, he's big, so he's going to be like double the price, like $39.99. I was contemplating Calabac. It's just a nice looking figure. I like, like the whole Kirby's Fourth World, so I thought that would be kind of cool. First of all, get back to the story. So anyways, so I was there and I saw these DC figures and I was kind of like, I kind of like these. I don't know if I like them. And I realized, it's MacFarlane. That's kind of cool. And I really didn't know MacFarlane Toys had that much of a presence at the time. I've obviously known about MacFarlane Toys ever since back when he started doing the Spawn figures in the 90s. And there was issues with that I had back then too. But I figured, let's see what these got. He's got the DC license. I can't remember exactly what figures were out at the time. But I kind of paid attention to it, but I was like, there's so much out right now. I'm just getting back into this. I'll probably hold off on this. And I didn't see anything I liked at the time, and I think the reason why is because the whole metal thing was going on in DC Comics, and I really didn't like it. I thought it was really stupid. You think, I would like the metal stuff. It didn't appeal to me, and I think that the figures at the time were very metal based, and I was like, I just kind of rolled my eyes at it. So I went on as usual collecting figures and kind of tangentially watching these DC Multiverse from the sidelines, as I'd go into the stores and stuff. So the first one I actually picked up, finally it's like, I really like that figure, I want that figure, was this version, the Catwoman figure, which I consider I could just call it the Jim Ballant 90s Catwoman. I wasn't huge on comics in the 90s, however, I really liked the Jim Ballant Catwoman at the time. I didn't necessarily like his art, and I didn't necessarily like the comic, although I did collect the comic here and there. I just liked the design of the costume. I thought it was a great Catwoman costume. So when I saw this come along, I was like, I gotta have this. So I got her on Amazon, and I think I got her kind of on sale. I think she was only $15. And I picked her up. So I kind of went back on to see, what figures were available. that might float my boat, based on that one. And there really weren't a lot. And I really wanted a good Batgirl figure, and for the time he had not that great of Batgirl characters. I want the original Batgirl, like the Bronze Age Batgirl, with the gray suit. I just want that traditional Bronze Age Batgirl, but he has done one recently in a set, which is weird because I didn't know he did sets, but he has a set now with, it's just a repaint of this one. So I ended up getting the Jim Lee one. I'm not a huge fan of Jim Lee, and I'm not a huge fan of the Jim Lee costume. However, it also is cheap. I think she was like $12, and it was as streamlined as possible. It was close enough to the original Batgirl costume as possible. So that's, of course, why they also just did a repaint of this in that set, and did her gray costume, which I would rather have, but I just don't want to buy that set for that one figure. So the Jim Lee, until they come out with that individually in a box, the Jim Lee one's going to do it for now. My impressions though on Catwoman is she looks very old. I don't know if you can see her in the face, but she doesn't look young. I mean, Catwoman's supposed to be, or not Catwoman, Batgirl's supposed to be young. That's what you kind of are used to. I mean, I'm not saying she has to be a teenager, but I think in her 20s, late 20s, even about that. She looks older. She looks like she's in her 40s, just from this face sculpt. And her body's really big, and her legs are really long. She doesn't have that more petite, shorter feel to her. Regardless of her age, I think she's shorter. I mean, when you see her next to like Batman or Robin, she's more like Robin's, like early Robin, like younger Robin, kind of his height, or even shorter than that. I mean, if you just go on the Batman animated series, she kind of has that feel to her as well. But she could be any age, and she's been all different ages. But I just prefer maybe a shorter, more petite Batgirl. But that's what's out. I mean, there's some other Batgirls, like the purple costume one stuff, and I think he might have made her look a little younger for that one. But I'm not really a huge fan of that, of those more modern Catwoman costumes. Or sorry, I keep saying Catwoman, Batgirl. And then, of course, I wanted a good Wonder Woman, and, they had those metal Wonder Woman I didn't like at the time. Well, they finally came out with, I considered, a decent Wonder Woman, which was this one. It's the new Gal Gadot one from Shazam. And she's tall. I mean, she's, in comparison to the other figures, she's tall, so she looks right. I personally am not a huge fan of the Gal Gadot costume. I prefer her original, not her original, not like Silver Age or Golden Age, but I mean, I like her Bronze Age kind of regular costume we're all used to. I don't mind Gal Gadot, the actress. I think she looks fine. But I just like that other costume more. I don't really like the skirt armory looking thing, the big boots. I don't like that. I prefer much more like the Linda Carter Wonder Woman costume more so than this one. But my issues with this figure, though, was first off, her tiara didn't come on her. It was like supposed to be holding her hand, but then I just assumed you would snap it onto her head, and it doesn't. So, yeah, other people have made videos about this as well, of course. So I had to take her tiara, and trim it down with a knife, with a hobby knife, to kind of the size. I got it close. I kind of did a little rough. And then I just glued it to her forehead so it wouldn't pop off because it wouldn't stay. Because I'd much rather have the tiara on it. I mean, it's nice to be able to take the tiara off, but, if it doesn't stay when you put it on, it's kind of useless, so I took that off. I don't like her lasso either, this, like, molded lasso. I think that's kind of, because you can't really do anything with it. And then they come with a, rolled-up lasso you hold on her belt there. Why didn't they just come? The reason why I say that is Catwoman comes with a whip that's softer rubber, and it bends. So why couldn't they just come out with a softer rubber gold lasso that bends? You could coil it up, put it on her belt or put it in her hand so she could use it. So it's a great looking figure. I mean, it looks outstanding. I mean, it almost looks like a like a hot toy, from a smaller hot toy, but I just think some of the stuff on it is just like, what was he thinking? You know, him or I know he's got to sign off on everything. So even if his guys came up with this, I would be like, what? You know, we'll redo that. So that's all I have for Wonder Woman for now. And these are my 3 figures. And the problem is now, of course, there's an interview with MacFarlane. I think he was interviewed by a YouTuber, and it mentioned in there that sorry, just checking my sound. It mentioned that he went on this tirade about making girl figures and how they don't sell, which he's not wrong about that. The female figures tend to pegworm, and you know, he went this whole tirade about, you know, how, you know, you buy a Wonder Woman figure for your son if he does good on homework or whatever, and he'd rather have the Batman, and you got him this female figure. He went on this thing about, oh, that's what creates serial killers. That was a little heavy-handed for him to say. You know, he doesn't seem to shy away from, you know, speaking his mind. And I think it was kind of an outrageous thing to say, but at the same time, I understand his point. You know, from a business point of view, if you're making, you know, action figures for boys and you're selling them in the boys action figure department, which they primarily are, sometimes they get stuck over in the collectors area at Target, which I noticed that my Meyer now has a NECA Funko section. I thought that's weird. They have a Elvira figure in there I really want. I might pick her up, I don't know. Maybe wait till she goes on sale, because I'm sure she'll pegworm for a while. But the problem is, I understand the point. I mean, you know, the older adult collectors want the female figures, and we'll you know, we obviously complain, hey, you know, why can't you make why can't you make all these female figures that we want for our collection? But we are obviously not the majority that we're supposed to be buying this. I think we are the majority, but I think from like the company's standpoint, they're still trying to cling to this, it's for kids, or they're trying to catch a youth market. And I don't see it happening, because the comic books aren't really catching the youth market. I mean, they could sell anime stuff all day. Kids are going to buy that. You know, teenagers, you know, preteens, you know, adolescent kids, they're going to buy, you know, whatever it is. If it's Dragon Balls, Naruto. Sorry, when I was in college, I overheard somebody say once at the where the Union part was, where I went to college, and some kid goes like, I like Naruto. So every time I see Naruto, or I think of Naruto, I always think to myself, I like Naruto. Yeah, so it's Naruto, or Naruto, or Naruto, I guess that's how you'd say it. But, yeah, they're going to sell those, they're going to sell My Hero Academia, they're going to sell One Piece, they're going to sell all that stuff all day long, and rightfully so, because the manga flies off the shelf. You know, the kids, especially young adults and teens, love the manga, so the figures are going to sell, I would assume. But, you know, doing the comic books, that's, you know, Western, just specifically Marvel and DC comic books, don't seem to be grabbing that young adult market, nor are they grabbing the adolescent, you know, kid market. It's pretty much a bunch of us 40 to 60-year-old dudes. You know, I'm stuck in the middle. We're the ones buying this stuff, and buying the comics, and buying the figures. So, you know, I don't currently collect modern comics right now. I'm looking through some of the CBRs of modern comics, just to see if I kind of want to dip my toe in it. But every time, I'm going to do a whole episode on this about me dipping my toe into modern comics. I've done it, I think, every other month for the last 10 years. And every time I end up, you know, ooh, the water's cold, you know, or ooh, I just stuck my hand in the oven. Every time I feel like I get burnt, or I just, you know, have a quick, visceral, oh, I don't like this. And even when I find a comic here and there that I do kind of like, it just doesn't, it seems to be just a shot in the dark, or just, you know, not common. I'll get into that later. So, stay on the figures here. So again, I understand MacFarlane's hesitance to put a lot of the female characters out there. because he doesn't want them to peg warm. And you know, by and large, they will peg warm. However, I don't see his DC Multiverse figures peg warming very much. There was a Superwoman that I missed out on. I didn't really know who she was at first. I mean, I knew who Superwoman was, but I didn't know that's what the figure was from. And a good-looking figure, but it went and it's still you can't find it. It's hard to find now. It's a lot on the secondary market. So apparently, some of the female figures aren't peg warming. You know, I mean, I got all of these. I mean, I even picked up the new Wonder Woman. I think she was like $18.99. So she was a couple of bucks less than retail. And obviously the other ones I got $15 and $12.99. So I got them on Amazon. So they must have had a glut of them and couldn't get rid of them. So maybe they are peg warming. But it presents a problem for me because I like the female figures, you know, the super heroines, and I want all of them. You know, I want Power Girl. I want, you know, you name it. A Star Sapphire would be awesome. You know, a Fire and Ice would be awesome. You know, in various costumes too. I would like to see like their older one, the Adam Hughes costumes. You know, I would love to see who else? More female villains. Cheetah would be great. You know, a Giganta would be great. Who else? A traditional Supergirl, you know, with the blonde hair. Yeah, and then they have one for the new movie, for the Flash movie, and I might get her. I think I mean, you know, a lot of people are kind of turned off about that, but I think she looks appealing. I think that has a nice look. It may not be a Supergirl, but I think the character looks nice. The costume looks nice. I might pick up the figure. They have a couple of the Teen Titans out with that Teen Titans set, the Build-A-Figure for, let me pull this up too so you know what I'm talking about here. So let me go here. I'm back on Action Figure 411, excuse me. Action Figure 411, and I just pulled up the DC section, and then of course there's the superpowers. Again, I'll get to that later. There's the Page Punchers, original superpowers is the Batman 66 section. But let's get into the visual guide of the multiverse. Now this is a big section, so I'll kind of skip around. Is that the newest? No, that was the original one. Yeah, so they just redid. A lot of that stuff is just repaint. She didn't do very well. I know that. I know this one hung around like in the adult collector section at Target forever. Never sold. I don't really have an interest in buying it. There's the one I have, which is that Batgirl. I say a lot of the dudes, obviously, because that's what they're going for. I mean, I think that's a great Batman. Actually, that's not the good one, but that one's okay. So here's what I was saying about the other Batgirls. I just don't know. No. I don't have the Harley Quinn. I didn't get the Harley Quinn. That's a nice figure. I didn't get it though. I remember when it came out. I almost bought one of the Batmans from the animated series. I think that one, but I ended up not getting him at the last minute. I'm not a huge Joker fan. I never have been. I know everybody loves Joker, and I know MacFarlane loves Joker. The problem is MacFarlane loves Batman too much. And so therefore you're going to see 9,000 Batmans. And it's just like, enough with the Bat. This happened back in the 90s, and this totally turned me off then. It's turning me off now. It's just like, enough with the Batmans. I don't care how many medieval Spawn Batmans you want. You know, and he does it with Spawn too. You know, I don't care for it. I don't have any, like I said, I like his products, and you know, for the more, I think he's a douchebag. He's he's just that kind of guy. But at the same time, I like him. At the weird same time, I agree with some of the things he says, and I think he's doing a good job at what he does. I also single-handedly, I think that he single-handedly destroyed the comic book industry and the action figure industry himself. So saying that, I still like him. You know, I mean, I still kind of respect what he does, although I blame him for destroying everything. You know, I'm somewhat being facetious with that statement. I still think there's a lot of truth to it. You know, I can go into that in detail too, but you know, I think the biggest thing that ticked me off about the when he first started doing Spawn figures back in the 90s, was it started to take away the toyness of it, and it became this collector, because everything, it was a speculator bubble. It was the 90s. That's what destroyed comics in the 90s, was the speculator bubble. And this whole action figure thing with this whole, let's make everything super articulate, and let's make super washes on everything, and let's dull the crap out of everything, and don't have the nice vibrant colors of like an action figure series like Masters of the Universe or whatnot. And or even the original Superpowers. That's why I like Superpowers. They're so vibrant, and there's no washes on any of them. They're up. The ones I have are up there, so I keep pointing. But yeah, I think that when he did that, then everybody, got gaga over that. Obviously, it's what everybody loves, so you're going to do what everybody loves. Me personally, and again, I'm not trying to be a contrarian. I just personally don't like it. I don't like 9,000 points of articulation, and I don't like 50,000 washes and paint apps. I think it just muddies the crap out of the figure. I don't care how real you're trying to make the things. I mean, I look at this one. I mean, she doesn't really have much of a paint. She's pretty straightforward. She's got a glossy black, which is fine. She's got definitely has a dry brushing in her hair, which is fine. This one's fine. I mean, some of these are fine. I don't know. I think maybe he has toned it down a bit. It just depends on the figure when it really comes down to it. But by and large, I think that this whole mess of wall of figures you see here are just too overbaked. But that kind of is MacFarlane's thing. The line mileage, 9,000 lines. His line mileage is he kind of overbakes everything. I mean, that's what he's popular for. I kind of, for some reason they remind me of the same person, but for some reason I always think of, these are the three people I think: Joe Satriani, Neil Schon, Todd MacFarlane, and Michael Bay. I swear to God they're the same frickin' person. Because they all seem like they're the same, cut from the same cloth. Some of them even look like Joe Satriani, and who is a very much an overbaked douchebag, just like MacFarlane is. Neil Schon isn't as much of a douchebag, but he's pretty douchey too. I think it's that whole, even though MacFarlane's from Canada, Vancouver, it's that whole, tall, dark-haired, thin, Jersey-ish kind of dude who's, very confident and full of himself. It's just that dude I just want to smack. Sorry. I just want to hit him. But anyways, MacFarlane's definitely of that ilk. And, it comes off in his stuff. It's very overbaked and a little douchey. I mean, his figures just have a kind of they radiate doucheness. If that's a term. But, where was I getting? I'm getting all worked up about MacFarlane. Anyways, so, there was a gray version of her. I wasn't as interested in that. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty much very indicative of the DC Superpowers costume. I think he did a Lex Luthor like that as well. I think it's this one. It's okay. I think it's a little overbaked. There's that Calabac I was telling you about. Pretty sweet looking figure. I mean, this one's overbaked, but I think he just looks pretty good. So this one I'm on board with. Where was I looking here? Oh, that's a good looking Batman. What was I looking for? Oh, I think it's down here. Oh, here's that Supergirl, by the way. I think it's a good looking figure. I think I like the dark hair. I prefer dark haired girls over blondes anyways. But I think it looks nice. I think that the actress is very attractive. I think it looks great. So I may get this one. I'll probably try to get it on clearance or on, sale, of course. I'm always looking for that sale. I know everybody says, don't look at the sales now. If you try to wait for the clearance and sales, you're going to miss everything. Whatever. I think going after a lot of the female figures makes it easy to pick them up because, again, they peg-warm a lot. They end up at Ollie's a lot. So, you can go that route. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, I'm trying to get down to the some of the Teen Titans. Oh, here's I don't know if I even noticed this figure. Again, it's the same costume, but it's not bad looking. the Harley Quinn there. That's the Lex Luthor Build-A-Figure. Is that? I don't know how recent it is. I don't want to keep going. Oh, here we go. No, that's the... Again, that's kind of... The other thing is, there's so many figures, and they're so interconnected. They also are very hard to follow. This is the same thing with all these modern figures. And figures like Marvel Engines. It's just like, there's so many of them being made, and it's just like, why are there so many? Like a metric ton of these, but there's only a small fraction of the ones I actually want. Guys or girls, you know? There's so many just look so modern. I know it's modern, but I mean, I just don't like them. I guess that's an okay Starfire. Where's the Starfire? And oh, here we go. Okay, this is the Beast Boy Build-A-Figure. They have a Donna Troy. I don't mind her costume. I don't know what costume this is per se, but I like. It's fine. She looks kind of weird in the face, but I probably picked this one up and she's on sale. I think she's still full price right. I actually think she's $24.99 on Amazon, which is kind of weird. And then this Raven, which I totally don't like this Raven at all. At least show her legs. I don't mind. I mean, I guess if you're going to do all this, that's fine, but give us her legs. You know, it's one of the reasons we like Raven. We like her legs. And I guess MacFarlane's trying to steer away from doing female figures because they peg warm. He also seems to, you know, everything, just the modern comic book environment seems to be trying to steer away from that, you know, because it's whatever, you know. But we're us 40-year-old to 60-year-old dudes are the ones buying this stuff. So, you know, we want to see some legs. That's the reason we like these characters. Well, at least me personally. I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with me. Yeah, give us some legs. Give us at least some better costumes. I just don't like this. I mean, especially for me being a very visual person, all being about the art, I'm all about the character's look. And I might like a costume on a character, and like, again, I like her costume. I think it's great. Do I like the comic? Not much. Do I like the artist who came up with this costume? Not really. I think he's kind of crappy. But I like that look. So with me, it's all about the look of the specific character. But I think most people are all about reading the comic books and being into the characters. So it's Batgirl, right? In name only, but to me it doesn't look like Batgirl. You know, it's Wonder Woman in name only, but to me it's not my Wonder Woman. You know, and the same thing goes for the guys. The Batman, it's not. You know, there's three Batman. There's the Adam West Batman. There is essentially the Neil Adams Batman, or the Bronze Age Batman, the gray and blue. And there is the Michael Keaton Batman. To me, there's only three Batmans. Chris Nolan's Batman's fine, but that's way after my time. I mean, even though I was, anything could be of my time, but I mean, I don't, Nolan Batman's okay. I don't like it. I think he's overbaked. But I like the Keaton Batman just because I have nostalgia for that time. And he is a pretty cool looking Batman. I kind of discount the Dark Knight Batman because it's kind of a self-contained thing. But the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman I think he had all those costumes in that, of the time. He had the Neil Adams gray and blue. I think he had the black and gray. But yeah, there's three Batmans to me. Adam West, the Neil Adams Batman, and Michael Keaton Batman. And, for those people who like him, there's Chris Nolan Batman. And that's pretty much all the Batmans. And the Batman the Warner Brothers Batman the Animated Series Batman. So they're technically five. And, I would like to see, and he's doing he did his version, which he was doing the Neil Adams Batman back when he did those Batman issues. That one's hard to find now. So he's done them. It's not to say that he doesn't do this stuff, but it seems like he farts out like 10 shitty figures for one good one. It just seems like that's the way it goes, And, here's that Super. And she also, this is part of this. I wish I want Starro too. I wish I would have got onto this. At least get the Starro. I'm sure you could probably get it on eBay, just the Starro himself, but people probably want a stupid amount of money for him. Here we go, though. She's showing legs. She's got legs. She's sold out. She's extremely hard to find. You know, she went quick. Why? The legs. You know, she's not wearing a thong. It's not super outrageous, you know, but she's definitely showing some leg. So bring the legs back. You know, to me, comic books are tights, legs, and capes. Although I'm not a big fan of capes. I don't really like capes. I'm not a cape person. Obviously, MacFarlane, there's that Batman I was telling you about. MacFarlane is a cape person. Neil Adams was a cape person. Bernie Wrightson was a cape. He's the one that made his cape crazy long. He was the first one to do it, actually. But, no, I wanted this set, too. I think he is coming out. It's a Target exclusive, but they got Blue Beetle because I think there's a Blue Beetle movie coming out. So they redid the Blue Beetle by himself. This was a set I should have bought and I missed out on. This is when I was about to get into the series because I really like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. I love Justice League International. It's one of my personal favorites. That's why I thought, like, that set, a Guy Gardner, Fire and Ice, a Martian Man. Well, they do have Martian Manhunter. But yeah, that would have been a great Justice League International. Now, if he did a full set, like $100, $125 set of like 5 or 6 figures of the Justice League International figures, you know, more. I don't mind if it's more the Adam Hughes stuff or it's the Keith Griffin stuff, but if he did that that set, you know, I think that would be great. I would buy it. You know, don't put goofy people in it. I would like to see even an Oberon in it. That would be nice. But I would like to see that. You know, there's that, of course, that Batmobile. I'm still hemming and hawing whether or not I'd pick that up if I found it. You know, or the Michael Keaton Batman. I do notice that is this the one? He has a gold label. Still the $250. Yeah, it's still the $250 one. I haven't seen the movie yet. I probably don't care about the movie. I mean, even though the Michael Keaton, I'll probably like it for the Michael Keaton, which is what everybody likes it for. You know, I think that Supergirl looks kind of cool. I'll probably see it, but you know, I need to. It's like I'm literally like dragging myself across the floor. I need to make myself like current things. You know, you're gonna have to just smash my face into current things. Like it. It's so hard for me to do it. I just get so every time I see new stuff. It just looks so new. I hate change and I hate new. Although I like new radios and new cars and that kind of new stuff, but I don't know. These figures. There's a Martian Manhunter. Yeah, they could easily do the. So that would be cool. I might pick him up. I really like Captain Atom, and that's a great Captain Atom figure. Like I said, when he does a good figure, it's a great Deadman. He knocks it out of the park. But as I keep saying, for every 10 figures he farts out, 9 of them are shit, and 1 of them are knocking it out of the park. Seeing he's a baseball guy, you know, I'll give him that. He's knocking some of these out of the park, but for the most part, he's striking out. Not a big baseball fan, but I'm not. So, alright, I've talked a little bit about this. So I guess my closing thoughts on this, without totally getting off subject again, is I'm definitely not a completist with this type of collection. There's just too many figures to buy. You know, you would go broke buying all these figures and chasing them all down. You know, there's so many that I just don't care about. You know, figures like the gold one's okay, but like this character, it's just like no. You know, there are some other figures that just turn me off. Man, again, Batgirl I don't like. That was on the side there. Oh, this comes the little mini. Okay, I don't know what that is. It's like a couple of figures came with those. Yeah, there's certain characters I'm just, no, I don't want. I don't want that. I don't want armored Batman. Or sorry, Superman. Sure, there's probably people who are like, oh, it's so badass. Yeah, if I was 12, you know, or 11 or 10, I might like it. But, which is, I guess, who's supposed to be buying these figures. We know they're not. I have an 11-year-old with 11-year-old buddies, and none of them are buying these. None of them even know who they are. I mean, they might know, they know who Batman is, but, you know, ask, if you were to hold this in front of a kid without the box and say, what is this? The kid would go, Pokemon figure? I don't know, is he in Fortnite? That's what a kid who is 11 years old would say right now. You know, let's go really obscure, because I know he's got some here. Okay, Calabac. Who is this? He's not from Fortnite. Nope. He's not from Pokemon. Nope. Is he from Roblox? Nope. Is he from the DC? Is he from MCU? Is he from the new Marvel movie? No, but you're getting closer. Is he from a DC movie? He is DC, but he's not from a movie. At least not yet that I know of. Oh, I don't know, who is he from? From the comic books? What's a comic book? Case closed. You know, that's your 11-year-olds. Like I said, I have one, and he's got lots of 11-year-old friends. And if you were to ask them, I would say 99.9%. That's the exact reaction you would get. Maybe not for my son. My son doesn't do the. My son's pretty smart because he's my son. Other people's kids, though. I say that a lot. Other people's kids. Some of them. Whoosh, woo! Sorry. They're probably watching this, so then they're going to take offense to it. But anyways, I digress. Let's go here. Yeah. You know, like I said, a nice fight. I don't dislike that. She's showing some leg. Give her that. I think this is an older set, though. I don't think this is available now. You know, where's Donna Troy here? Where's Raven here? Where's the rest of the female? What do you call it? Teen Titans. The Outsiders. I would love to see like comic accurate, you know, Bronze Age 1986 outside 1985 1986 Outsiders here. I'd love to see those. I'd love to see the George Perez comic accurate. What do you call it? Teen Titans. And then I know MacFarlane. I know damn well he knows exactly that those would be cool. I don't know why he doesn't pull the trigger on that. I would just say I mean, no, he's doing the superpowers right now. Hopefully he delivers on that. Hopefully it's basically based on a 1984 action figure line, and he's trying to stay pretty close to it, although he give us the Batman Who Laughs. Whatever. But in the Dark Sides, New 52 Dark Side, you know, Rebirth, Wonder Woman, he's starting to get off. He's starting to go off the rails a bit. But if he really wants to honor that toy line, and he really wants to give us what we wanted back then, he would go all straight up mid 80s comic accurate superpowers figures, the entire DC Who's Who, cover to cover. Well, he doesn't have to go that crazy, but I would say at least 3/4 of it. Give us all the Legion of Superheroes. Give us all of Teen Titans. Give us all of Doom Patrol. Give us all of Suicide Squad. Give us all of Justice League. Give us all of that. You know, give us a Swamp Thing. Give us I could keep going on and on and on. But yeah, give us all that stuff. If you're not going to do it in the multiverse, do it in the superpowers. The other thing I think would be great that he did is if he did a 7-inch DC Multiverse. He could keep the packaging physicalness of these packaging, but give us the Superpowers packaging design on the Multiverse figures in the Multiverse packaging. You can still do Build-A-Figures, that's fine, whatever. But give us Superpowers, mid-80s, or based essentially Bronze Age DC superheroes in 7-inch form with the articulation and the look with those colors. Don't blackwash the crap out of it. Don't dry brush the crap out of it. Give us straight opaque, straight up paint apps that you'd see on those figures. I'd love to see it. And I know there's gotta be. Can't be the only person here saying this. I mean, there's gotta be hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are all pretty much my age, and the people who are buying this stuff, the people who would be on board with that. I'd say he'd make a killing on it. I don't know how he's doing on the Superpowers. He seemed to be doing great. The pre-orders sold out for like crazy fast for all the new pre-orders, so I would assume it's popular. It's good. I'm looking forward to get mine. So, all right, we're 40 minutes. Let's call it at that. Again, I don't want to keep just ranting, which obviously this isn't a rant channel, but ranting is inevitable. It's going to happen regardless. And I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to make it a rant channel. It's not necessarily a review channel either. It's just, these are the things that I like, and I know there are other people that I would like them as well. I think I have a certain viewpoint on this stuff that may not be the popular viewpoint, but I think people might get a kick out of hearing my viewpoint on it, and maybe they share the viewpoint. I'm trying also not to, I'm not going to swear my head off, and I'm not going to trash everybody and badmouth everybody, but I'm also going to try not to pull any punches. I mean, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm thinking, and if it's not popular, or if it offends people, or if, you don't agree with me, that's fine. Then disagree with me, and jump in my comments and disagree with me. I'll have a conversation with you any day about it. You don't need to, just sit there and trash talk me, because you don't like what I'm saying. But if you have a serious, difference of opinion about what I'm saying, I am more than willing to sit down and chat with you. And I'll try to answer. And I do this for my own other business too. I answer everything. I'm on social media for my comic book, for the comic books that I do. And every single time somebody sends me a message, it might not be 5 minutes after you send it to me. It might not be a day after you send it to me. But I will answer every single one of your comments. But make a comment too. Don't just say nothing. It's not even a statement that I don't know how to react to. It's just like, toaster oven. What the hell does that mean? I'll say back, microwave. I don't know what the hell people are talking about half the time. But anyways, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now with DC Multiverse. Definitely don't have a lot, and like I said, I don't plan to get a lot, but I'm gonna pretty much buy the girls and maybe a couple of the dudes that I like. But that's about it for my Multiverse spending. I am gonna try to stay, completist with superpowers, although I think there's some things coming up that are also making me kind of scratch my head. But I'll get into that in the superpowers video. So, for now, let's leave it there. What I say this is episode 23? Yeah. Wednesday? I don't know. I don't know what the days are anymore. But I don't know what I'm going to do for tomorrow's episode 24, but I guess I'll figure it out when I get there. Again, like, subscribe, jump on my channel, help me build this channel up. Like I said, if you disagree with anything I say, start commenting, start telling me what you disagree with. Let's have a conversation. I could talk all day on this stuff. Trust me. I mean, I could talk all day on this stuff. Even if I'm not saying anything, I could still talk all day on this stuff. And I love to talk about this stuff. I love to get into the minutia. I love to get at all the detail. I mean, I literally can scare every girl out of the room talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? So give me a message on here. You can go to my business contacts. I got my email address in there too. You can email me. That's my main email address. That's the one I do also for my comics business too. So, you know, if you want to learn more about that, ask me about that. I'll be more than welcome to talk to you about it off camera, off YouTube. Kind of let you get, you know, we'll get into that. I said I'm trying to keep that kind of separate from this. This is a different state, different channel, and I'm hoping to get a different, viewership. Although I don't mind if it bleeds over, but most of the stuff that people know me for on my comics, I'm probably not going to get into very deeply on here. Yeah, so let's do that, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.